And we are back. It's probably very important that whenever you do record, it's quite necessary that you have like a drink of water right next to you, otherwise you're probably going to sound really awful and feel awful, generally. So picking this up is actually a trap. It turns the room dark.
Who turned out the lights?
Yeah, well spoken, Sam. Yeah, it's just a little arena, which actually isn't too scary. It's very simple enemies. Although it might be scarier for those who are new to this game and are playing the training level. So, these are pretty much the exact same enemies you encounter in that circumstance. Which does include these two clear skeletons. And yeah, that was kind of painful. I don't usually get hit by them, but it happens. And lastly, there are two invisible Gnar, actually. You can see that their outlines are very faint. You might be able to see, but it's kind of difficult to not get hit and look at it. But yeah, invisible Gnars, those are things in this game which are very rare. Like, I think this is the only time you actually encounter them. It's very odd. Very odd indeed. But there are some spooky sounding enemies out there, which are really just too clear. Stop, please. Just, please. Thank you. Thank you. That one was having some pretty odd behavioral issues, if you ask me. There's no armor over here anymore. I'm quite sad. But I think walking out here spawns not too many enemies, just kind of couple one of them, two of them maybe. Walking forward, on the other hand, is an entirely different story. No, this isn't actually the big reveal right here. That wasn't the spooky enemy. This is the spooky enemy. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Along with a couple of kamikazes. There was one behind me. Like, I'm sorry, like, I paused for a minute there because I was really trying to figure out I'm gonna die. I am so dead right now. Due to my extreme carelessness, I'm probably going to have my first death in this entire playthrough. Because, again, those ones in the Moon Mountains do not count. Wow, that took off quite a lot of me. That was pretty scary. I didn't expect those kamikazes to be behind me, so I should probably try to remember that in the near future. What? What? Where's the enemy? Oh. Hang on, I think I know what the tricks. Yeah. There's a guy out there. I'm just gonna leave him alone, actually, because it's another firecracker, and we haven't seen many of those in a while. I'm gonna quick save, because I don't want to die, for one thing, and for another thing, this part's kind of spooky. Mostly because of those clear skeletons, which I really don't want to get hit by. And there's a couple of lava golems too, which broke off of that big guy, but it's no real issue. You just kind of have to watch your footing and you should be okay. Secret shells back here, not really secret though. This door, again, it's locked. Can you guess what we have to do? Gee, I wonder. This is the Shrine of Mut. The door is locked. I do not have enough information for opening this door. You will have to return here later. First, find the gold statue of Ammon. It is placed in the Temple of Ammon, located at the end of the Ankh-shaped yard. We will need the statue later to open the gates of Luxor. I'm sure that you will enjoy some night swimming. Swimming, you say? It sounds very exciting, Matrix. I'd love to go swimming. And, yeah, hi. How you doing? Yeah, he's still alive. Okay. I really love how that guy just doesn't care at all. He doesn't, like, bother. Oh! He's actually trying to shoot at me now. What? Hang on. Let's see how close I have to get for him to actually, like, shoot at me. This is very important. I'm sorry. Yeah. You have to stand, like, right here and then he'll shoot at you. Farewell, Mr. Firecracker. I'm going to check and see if, actually, there's any spare armor over here. I think there is. Yep. That would indeed be some armor. I could definitely use that right about now. Because I probably will die and I will be a very, very sad panda. Don't get hit by that. That's Probably very noteworthy. You should not get hit by that. I think that guy actually did his ground pound attack and did some damage on me, which was pretty rude of him. You died to this guy right here. That was pretty adorable. And that seems to be everything. I think we can safely move on now. And we get a nice little cutscene. I apologize if you heard me taking that drink of water. But yeah, this is a pretty cool area. And as you can probably guess, we have to go to the other side, which will be a slightly scary trip. And the reason behind that is if you walk forward right here, there we go. I had to get it right eventually one of these days. Gonna try, yeah, get a collateral shot, because that would be necessary for me to take out 2 lava golems in one hit. A couple of spooky enemies, but can be easily defeated if you know what you're doing. I think I know what I'm doing, at least. This pool has a couple of secrets, actually, but first, we're going to walk over this way and trigger some enemies. So, I believe I'm going to want to be carrying the minigun out. Because, yeah, there's actually an arachnoid right behind us, and I'm just going to lure these guys in and kill them the cheap way. You're a floating Gnar! Those are actually kind of rare. Ow. What? Ow. What? Ow. I'm being bombed, apparently. I can't even tell if I'm hitting these shots. Ooh, that's a bad idea. Yeah, I know I'm cowering quite a lot, but it's because I don't really have that much health and armor. Can you really blame me, honestly? You finally noticed me, it took you that long. And that would be the end of you guys. You know what? I'm actually gonna go ahead and get the first secret, because I remember that there's armor down here. So you see this pile of cannonballs right here? This looks oddly miscolored. You touch it, then it lowers. And there's a secret down here. Secret area which has a bunch of ammo, and I believe a couple of shields. So, probably good to go ahead and pick up if you really desperately need it. I know I certainly do at this point. But picking those up, you can actually hear there's a couple of fishies up top. A couple of electro fish, which we haven't seen in a while. Spawn some behind you and in front of you, but they can be relatively easy to defeat, in my opinion at least. And there you go. Walking forward here, I think spawns an arachnoid to the right of us, which is, yeah, an adult. And this one spawns a biomech and a giant golem. Ooh! That was a bad idea. Don't do what I just did. Just a fair bit of common sense. Do not do what I just did. I am such a bloody idiot. I'm sure you have realized. Wow, I can't believe I let myself get hit by that, honestly. I'm gonna go ahead and walk this way to trigger the other enemies. The other enemies, which I think are a little bit less threatening, but still they're enemies nonetheless. Such as that guy, he's kind of threatening if you ask me. I'm gonna let that kamikaze drown because I feel like it. And pretty basic fight if you ask me. I mean, once again, you can use the pool to your advantage pretty much, and you can avoid quite a number of nasty enemies. I believe there's a skeleton down there as well that chose to dive in after me. Yep. But he was easy to defeat nonetheless. Okay then. Pretty straightforward if you ask me. What would happen if I walked over this way? More enemies, perhaps? Maybe? Yes. I'm trying to remember. Does it spawn a big biomech behind you? Maybe it does. I cannot quite remember. Alright. I see that guy out there, which I can probably go ahead. You know what? I'm gonna use the rocket launcher. 3 rockets should take care of these guys, no trouble at all. Just make sure that your rockets don't actually, like, hit the guy and Yeah, you should be victorious. And that would be it. While we're at it, let's go ahead and get that second secret in this pool, which is actually a pretty neat secret. So you open this up, there's actually music in the background. Let's go ahead and swim back up and listen to it a bit more clearly. So that was the Crow Team theme, in case you couldn't tell, and if you take a look at what the papyrus was, it's the Crow Team papyrus! You have found a secret papyrus. Strangely enough, it is written in Croatian and translates as, "We are glad that you are such a brave hero and that you have made it here. Enjoy the rest of the game. Crow Team wishes you best luck." Some historical background: Crow Team was a small underdog game developer that delivered a game that shares your nickname, Serious Sam, way back at the beginning of the 3rd millennium. Later, after many poorly designed sequels, Serious Sam Volume 15 Mental Strikes Back Again, which took place only in sewers, dark caves, and claustrophobic gothic dungeons, became the best-selling game ever, selling around 387 million copies. I do not know if this is somehow connected with our mission. Probably not, just carry on. But yes, I'm looking forward to Serious Sam Volume 15 Mental Strikes Back Again, because that game sounds like it has some pretty interesting levels in it. Hang on. I get the feeling I know what's going to happen if I shoot this. Yep. Yep. Called it. So going over here actually spawns a pretty interesting little ambush sequence, which I think is just maybe kamikazes. I think there is one lava golem as well. I guess we'll find out. Okay, let's start this off. Just a couple kamikazes. Doesn't seem like a really big deal to me. You can also use the shotgun, actually. The 12-gauge shotgun is actually pretty good for this area. That is, unless, of course, the lava golem spawns when you least expect it. In this case, I didn't expect it, and as such, I'm stuck fighting kamikazes while that guy is indeed throwing projectiles at me, and that's really rude of him. Might I say, right now, because I would appreciate it if these kamikazes stopped spawning, and I would at least have a moment to breathe. But then again, this game is called Serious Sam, and there really isn't any moments to breathe, if you ask me. Stop throwing your lava-y projectiles at me. It's very rude. Thankfully, I had a lot of armor to tank most of that damage right there. If that were the case. Walking over here, there's also another enemy trigger, which I'm really, quite honestly, not very fond of, so I'm actually going to show a sneaky way of pretty much skipping it entirely. But first of all, this door is locked. You cannot proceed this way. There is no way to open this door. On the other hand, we definitely need that gold statue. There must be another way to enter the shrine. I know! Let's rocket jump up there. It could be easy, right? Sam, you have to find an alternative entrance. I mean, look at it. Like, you could probably just rocket jump onto this ledge and then above that, and you could likely make it with enough health. That's just an assumption, though. That's just a little theory of mine. I need to save this laser gun ammo, actually. You'll see why. It's for sneakily avoiding this rather dastardly ambush site area, if you will. So I'm gonna go ahead and start triggering the enemies. I think Sam has a one-liner too. No, that's only in the training level, it seems. Yeah, there we go. So this just spawns a giant horde of skeletons and kamikazes that appear in a very interesting fashion. Basically, they appear like with 3 skeletons and 2 kamikazes. But because I'm a wuss, I'm going to go ahead and make sure they stop spawning enemies altogether, just by running back. The enemies will continue to spawn if you stay over there, so it's best to keep that in mind. Also, if you go over here, you can see that this doesn't, like, look very suspicious at all, this area. There's actually a secret door right here, which can be opened with 2 buttons, which you will see in a moment. First of all, we have to swim down this way. And I believe that might spawn a couple of fishies. And I'm going to have to use the rocket launcher on them because I don't have any bullets. There was one behind me, there were two behind me, three behind me. But it's okay because the shotgun actually makes good work of these guys. Short work, good work. Good work, good work everyone. You are fantastic, can I just say. But yeah, there's the locked door. We get a nice little pool right here. And a little bridge with a couple of armor shards on it. So walking over here, these are the two buttons I was talking about. So just go ahead and press them. And take a drink of water while I'm at it, because that's kind of important. Wait for it. Secret entrance has been opened, and we will go see that in a minute. First of all, there's the item we need. This place doesn't look very sinister at all, does it? It's kind of a little safe haven, right? No, it isn't. If you pick that up, you are going to be spawning a bunch of really scary enemies, including that guy, notably. It sounded like he was behind me, which really wouldn't make sense if you think about it, because by then, he would have already blown up. But those were all the scary enemies, and we can move on. Analyzing. What's this?
Cool.
It is cool. I agree, Sam. Syrian pictograms. While we were fighting, I found a lot of interesting texts. They were all written in pictograms. It's the same letter as the one as found at Abu Simbel. Abu Simbel discovery at the beginning of the 21st century was a breaking point in human history, when humankind inherited some of the Syrian knowledge and started massive interstellar travels. So it seems that the Syrian expedition, after landing, lived here in Thebes. They were treated like gods in the eyes of the Egyptians. Syrians exploited that fact and organized massive buildings throughout Egypt. The biggest construction was in Thebes itself, with the building of the Great Pyramid. In return, they helped the rise of the Egypt Empire. Once the empire became mighty, Memphis leaders decided that they could rule without help and influence from Thebes. It was easy to turn Egyptian folk against Thebes because the constant building of offerings to the gods exhausted them, and so the riots began. But what a fault it was. The Egyptian empire soon fell apart. What's interesting is all texts here in Karnak are kept really simple and symbolic. Syrians did not write them. Sacred Egyptians, chosen by Syrians to serve them, must have written them. It seems that the Syrians themselves lived in Luxor. You must go there. So that appears to be our next destination, it seems. Very well then. Let's go ahead and pick up these couple of things, and I really need a big drink of water. Excuse me for a minute. Because my throat is wearing out from all this talking. Eventually it starts to drive me insane. But I am ready to face off the evil, dastardly demons. Such as that guy out there, which I might be able... yeah, got him. Unfortunately, those guys are a bit more of a redeeming issue because I don't really have any bullets. But maybe if I could clump them together, then I might be able to take them out using grenades. Or I could just get them to, like, completely stand still in here. And that works just as well. Nope, surfacing. I got to surface. Otherwise, they're just going to shoot at me and that will be a slight problem. There's a couple of them, I think. Yeah, that was a majority of them. I believe that's the last one left. Come here, you. No. Stay away from me. Okay then, so now we can go after that secret that we had covered, which is over here, as I demonstrated earlier. Here it is. Let's go ahead and just swim down. This is kind of a really interesting and odd room. Like, I don't really know why this is here. It's just... yeah. I mean, you do know why it's here. It's a secret for one thing. It has secret items, but if you swim up, something is seriously wrong right here. If you swim up even more, then you just kind of get this random blob here. I really don't know what the existence of this is, why this is here. There really isn't any explanation. It's just kind of a blob. But if you hit this button, which is flashing, then your gravity is reversed and you can pick up these items, which thankfully contains bullets. And yeah, that's the secret. Again, not really sure why that exists to be, Not really sure why there's a blob there. I guess it was something they pulled from like the technology test and just wanted to show it off. But there you go. That is a 2001 game for you. And look at that skybox once more. Isn't this very neat? I believe we saw the skybox like the intro of the game too, because you could see that I don't know, that galaxy, I guess maybe that constellation. I'm not really sure what that exactly symbolizes, but that's there. And there's some ammunition here if you need it. And I'm trying to remember what enemies you encounter right here. I'm gonna use the minigun, just to be safe. It might be worth using because there's a skeleton right here, 2 guys back here, and then that guy spawns as well. Alright, this is actually pretty manageable, I'm not too concerned. I'm gonna use the Tommy gun on these guys. Oh, you shot me! One of the rare times where I've been shot by a Rocketeer, how about that?